Welcome, Auto 240, crank and camshaft position sensor. I'm Bailey.
Jake. I'm Charlie.
All right, let's locate some pieces. So right here, each one of these is a valve and is a camshaft position sensor. So we've got intake bank 1, exhaust bank 1, and if we come to the other side, up here, intake bank 2, and then exhaust bank 2, and there's the connector. It faces, points downward. And then these are all AC signal current sensors. So you're gonna see they have 2 wires on there. And then if we walk on over here, we're gonna try and get down to you here. Can we move that? Right down there is our signal for our crankshaft. All right, so I'm actually under the truck. This is the passenger side exhaust, and here's our oil sump right here. We go straight up, and we actually look at that sensor right there. Is our crankshaft position sensor right next to our crankshaft housing and right behind our reluctor wheel. We can't get it today because of the covers that they put on. All right, we've got ourselves a 2020 Toyota Tacoma with the 3.5 V6. And right now we are back probing on the bank 1 exhaust camshaft. And we're gonna read that signal over here. And we're getting about 2.9 volts on that signal. So now let's go see. Here, Charlie, will you hold the camera?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go press on the throttle, and let's see what happens. Okay, we measure this voltage right here. All right, so now we've jumped from the Tacoma. We are now at a 2011 Buick Lucerne, and we're gonna test the crank position sensor. So right now, let's look at this connector view. So when you go back, it's actually, you've got 3 different connectors. You've got crankshaft position signal, low reference, and then 12-volt reference. And so in these connectors, our actual crank position sensor is on the back side underneath the exhaust. And it takes a while to get in there, so we back probe the connector that's to that, and it's actually, we're doing it connected to our signal. Now, if we go over, we're gonna check our stop running idle signal. So you can see it's a digital signal because of the square wave, and you can see where our missing tooth is right there in our crankshaft signal. And so let's see what it looks like when it's running at idle. You can see it might pop up every once in a while, the gap there. And now let's see if we should rev it up. Our frequency comes closer. There we go. See, look at that. It's the same amount of time, but our frequency has increased. And you see that our gaps have decreased, but our voltage remains the same because of the digital signal. And yeah, this is so far. All right, so now the vehicle's off, and we're gonna do a clear FUD to see what the crank signal will look like. All right, go ahead. Ooh, much different than what we usually see. We then moved to a 2007 Buick Lucerne with the 3.8-liter V6. We are now looking at our crankshaft sensor connector view. So A and B is our both different types of signals. So we have a high signal and a low signal, and these together will help locate the rotation in the crankshaft. Now we're looking at the camshaft sensor, which is a 3-prong connector because it only has one signal wire, which is the brown and black wire, and that's the one we back probed. All right, so now we've got our camshaft sensor signal, our low reference kind of other crankshaft signal, and then our high crankshaft signal. So now we're gonna rev it up so you can see how that changes. There you go. You can see how they kind of match up right here with the two crankshaft and the camshaft. So yeah.